Chaos Space Marine chapters, or legionnaires. Let's close your eyes. Scroll down and start from the bottom. Whoa. Wow, there's only 8? Alright. At 478, we have the Emperor's Children. The Emperor's Children really... You don't get a lot of representation on the tabletop, same thing. The Emperor's Children are a traitor legion of the Chaos Space Marines who devote themselves solely to the service of the Chaos God Slaanesh, the Prince of Pleasure, also known as She Who Hungers. The Emperor's Children's Chaos Space Marines are known for possessing outlandish mutations, surgical alterations as gifts from Slaanesh, designed to make them more perfect in the eyes of their twisted patron. I'm surprised they don't have a picture of a Sound Marine here. These guys are very kind of gross. They're not what they once used to be, and a lot of them are now in smaller war bands. They're very, very gross. Number 7, the Black Legion. Wow, the Black Legion, Abaddon's boys. Okay, kind of makes sense though. The Black Legion is the traitor legion of Chaos Marines that is the first infamy, if not treachery, whose name resounds as a curse throughout the scattered, war-torn realms of humanity. The Black Legion was once one of the first 9 founding legions in the Space Marines, whose traitor name to the Imperium during the Horus Heresy. Their name. Oh, Marines who turned traitor during the Horus Heresy in the 31st millennium. These guys were the sons of Horus. They were also the Lupercal Wolves. And now they are Abaddon's little crybabies. I don't really like the Black Legion. I don't really care much for Abaddon. There's not much to say. Their time in the sun has passed. I know they're kind of the big baddies, but their time has gone. It's time for somebody else to go. And the reason why I said their time is gone is because, like I said in the Lords of Silence book, Mortarion actually had a vision that their time is coming up. Their time is coming to an end. Abaddon's role is pretty much used up. He is losing favors with the gods, and somebody else is going to replace him soon. I don't know if they'll ever do that in the tabletop. If they do, they probably won't get rid of Abaddon. The Black Legion will just probably be put on a back burner, and maybe there'll be different war bands of the Black Legion, and then maybe there'll be like a new legion, like, I don't know, a new Legion of Horus. Number 6, the Iron Warriors. The Iron Warriors' specialty was breaking the sieges and assaults on static fortifications, which made them the great rivals of the Imperial Fist Legion, which was said to construct the greatest static defenses in the Imperium. It is a rival between the legions and between their primarchs Protorabo and the Imperial Fist Roldan that helped turn the Iron Warriors to chaos. Iron within, iron without. So these guys are basically the chaos equivalents of not only the Imperial Fists, but also the Iron Warriors. Or not, these guys are the Iron Warriors, the Iron Hands, because basically any part that gets grossly mutated, they lop off and replace with robotic parts. You can see that there with his leg, and maybe with his arm there. Maybe that's just regular armor, but they also think that the flesh is weak, and these guys have really high attrition rates. I could go into the grafted. Those guys are pretty cool. I probably will, because it's a fun little lore fact that people don't know about. So they were first mentioned in a Space Marine Anubis that I have, our omnibus, whatever, that was written by Graham McNeil. Basically, 2 Ultramarines are sent away on a suicide quest because one of them decided to join the Death Guard and fend off, not the Death Guard, the Death Watch, to help fend off some Tyranids that were coming to eat McCrag. eat them all up. And they basically, because he disobeyed orders and he didn't follow the space Bible, he and his buddy got kicked out to go on the suicide quest. Long story short, they came across and got captured by the Iron Warriors. Hopefully I'm getting this information right, because it's been years since I've read that book. But essentially, to make up for their attrition rates, they basically have these things called demon wounds, not wounds, that they got from Slaanesh somehow. And they started growing basically clones, but without skin. You take a prisoner of war, strip them of their power armor, throw them in the demon thingy. The demon thingy would basically dissolve you down back to basic material, and sometimes your gene seed would be left over, so they could pluck out, the apothecary could pluck out the gene seed and reuse it, and then over time a new Space Marine clone would be born, most of the times without skin. And in the book, the Iron Warriors didn't really like that and thought that was kind of gross, so they threw them down a giant garbage shaft. And then these two Marines that were put in the womb, the Ultramarines, they escaped. They cut open the wombs. They got out. They ripped out. They found the grafted, these ugly, gross, skinless guys who didn't know what the hell was going on. They're like, you are now loyalists. And they used them to get the hell out of Dodge, but they all died. And everybody thought that was the end of them. But no, they're still using them. Basically, they stopped throwing them down garbage chutes and realized that these guys, because they're in so much pain and because they don't have any skin, they can just graft them into power armor. And if they get shot or hurt, like, to them, that's just like, that's not pain. That's just, okay, whatever. And they keep going on. And I think they use that lore to, and this is just me spitballing and speculating here, and I could be wrong. I think they use that lore for or maybe have used it to be the inspiration behind the new Obliterator models, because those guys are kind of mutated and grafted into their weaponry and stuff like that. So maybe that's where they got it. But I do know the grafted are still around, and I do know there's a couple of other Iron Warrior, if I can speak, warbands out there that clone their Astartes to make up for their high attrition rate. The Night Lords at number 5. Ooh. Like I said, no, I said that in the first one. So I haven't read any of these, so this is a new surprise. I do like the Night Lords. The Night Lords are my boys. I know people don't like them. I do. I like them a lot. And the Night Lords do not worship any of the Chaos gods individually, that is true, but acknowledge them equally in the form of Chaos Undivided, as they ruthlessly spread terror and fear amongst the galaxy's inhabitants. The Night Lords are expert in the use of terror tactics to win battles and demoralize their foes before their main combat even begins. These guys are Murder Batmans, or a hybrid of Murder Batman and Judge Dredd. They are the law. If you litter, you will be skinned alive. I do like these guys. They're neat. They're cool. I like the stories about them. Right now, I am halfway through the second book. It's been a while. The only time I find myself reading the book is when the house loses power, which is a sad thing. I'll probably have to go dig it out and reread it. But these guys are cool. Their power armor, I don't think they had the lightning bolts in the Horus Heresy, but their power armor is special. That is not painted on. Lightning actually does crackle off their armor. It crackles and dances off their armor, which gives it a really, really cool and special effect. The Alpha Legion at number 4. There's not a whole lot of votes that I'm knowing with the Chaos Legionnaires. There were a bunch, though, with the regular ones, with the loyalists. Because Chaos doesn't get very much love, nor does Xenos or Orcs, but that's a tale for another time. The Alpha Legion is the Chaos Legion, Marine Trader Legion, about whom the least is known. They are experts in infiltration. Their armies contain many Chaos cultists in addition to regular Chaos Space Marines. These guys are like your evil James Bond, mixed with Hydra from the Avengers? Hail Hydra? Yeah. Thousand Suns. All these poor guys. This dude right here, he can't take off his helmet or his power armor because he's just dust. The main features that distinguishes the Thousand Suns from other Trajan legions is their sheer numbers of psychic mutations that have always existed amongst the Space Marines in this legion. Currently, every member of the legion possesses psychic abilities. Yes, every one of them can use mind bullets. Every current member of the legion is, they prefer the use of Chaos Space Sorcerers in guile and combat, relying on their psychic powers and their sorcerer's knowledge to earn them victory. These guys used to be red and gold, now they are blue and gold, and the reason why they're blue is because of Tzeentch. Death Guard. Ooh, Death Guard's not number 1. You're having a bad time if the Death Guard step on your doorstep, because even if they just do decide to leave, or you somehow are able to stop them, just like the Orcs, there's going to be permanent side effects to the planet you're on, mainly in disease and happy little creatures called Nurglings and weird plague plants and God knows what else. But let's get into the Death Guard. I do like the Death Guard. I do like Mortarion. My favorite Chaos Legions are in no particular order: the Death Guard, Night Lords, and I do like the World Eaters. But anyway, the Death Guard are one of the traitor legions of the Chaos Space Marines. They worship and devote themselves exclusively to the Chaos God Nurgle. As a result of his mutational gifts, they have become Plague Marines, Astartes who are eternally rotting away within the power armor, and infect with every known form of disease and decay, but who are immune to all the pain or minor injury. In 8th edition, these guys could eat a las cannon to the face and be okay with it. Their armor does rot away, but it also becomes more organic over time. So they become really gross living abominations of flesh, sinew, and whatever the hell their armor becomes. Oh my god. World Eaters are number 1. They are the most brutal. And they are the Khorne Berserkers pretty much in 8th edition. You get those guys on a rhino, and if the rhino survives, then you deploy them, and I've actually seen this happen on a couple of different YouTube channels where people were playing the tabletop game, and they had 2 groups of Khorne Berserkers in basically Rhino case space, the Rhino equivalent of for evil Space Marines attacking Knights, and the Rhinos survived, and both groups of Marines were able to get out and get lucky enough not to get killed in Overwatch, and just in one turn take down an Imperial Knight. Anyway, the World Eaters are dedicated servants to the blood god of Khorne, the chaos god of war and murder, and live for nothing more to spill the blood in his name. The World Eaters Primarch Angron was one of the first Space Marine Primarchs to join the War Master Horus when he turned against the Emperor and began the Horus Heresy. So Chaos is as a Chaos God, Khorne is unique because not only does he get his power from just death, destruction, and war, but from what I've seen, he's one of the few gods that will actually resurrect dead people and bring them back to life to fight another day. He's done this a couple of times He's done this over and over and over again. With orcs and some demons. He has them constantly fighting and killing each other every day, and the outcome always changes. Sometimes the orcs win, sometimes the demons win, sometimes no one wins, and he just resurrects them all the time. But he's done that too with his with some of his Corn Berserkers and things like that. Anyway, so I was very surprised they had World Eaters as number 1. I thought maybe Black Legion, they would have Black Legion as number 1. Alright, what else do we have here? We have Best Craft Worlds, Best Orc Clans, Best Tyrannid Hives, Best Imperial Gun Regiment, Guard Regiment, not Gun Regiment, Greatest Race, and every 40k game ranked. We'll do Tyranids just because with 10th edition coming up, there are going to be people interested about Tyranids. I don't know a whole lot about Tyranids except for they are giant space bugs of murder and death, and they eat everything, and then they go on to the next planet and start over again.